NASA has released a stunning view of Saturn and its splendid rings and moons that has been captured by the Cassini spacecraft during the final leg.
In the final days of NASA's Cassini spacecraft, humanity was granted a view of Saturn that had never been witnessed before. As it sent back its last images before a deliberate plunge into the planet's atmosphere, the world collectively held its breath. These images weren't just snapshots of a distant gas giant, they were the culmination of over a decade of exploration, a visual testament to one of the most successful space missions in history. Among the final frames, Cassini captured hauntingly beautiful shots of Saturn's swirling clouds, its iconic rings slicing across the blackness of space, and the mysterious dance of its many moons. Each photograph was not only scientifically rich but emotionally profound, serving as a farewell letter from a silent traveler that had revealed wonders far beyond expectation. Before we start, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more updates. The release of Cassini's final images was met with astonishment. Scientists, astronomers, and enthusiasts around the world found themselves shaken by the clarity, the depth, and the unexpected beauty captured in those last moments. Saturn's upper atmosphere appeared ghostly and surreal in ultraviolet, streaked with shadows from the planet's icy rings. Wisps of clouds formed patterns no Earth-based telescope could ever have seen. These weren't just scientific artifacts. They were works of cosmic art, displaying the grandeur of a world 746 million miles from Earth. For a spacecraft that had traveled nearly 2 decades across the solar system, these images were a fitting crescendo. Among the most striking of the final photographs was an up-close image of Saturn's North Pole, showcasing the famous hexagon, a persistent six-sided jet stream that defies earthly meteorological understanding. Cassini's detailed capture of this phenomenon was sharper and more textured than any before. The storm's eye, surrounded by swirling vortices, looked like a portal into another dimension, an alien weather system in eternal motion. No simulation or model had ever fully explained how this formation could persist for so long, and even in its final approach, Cassini offered no easy answers, only deeper questions wrapped in hypnotic elegance. Equally breathtaking were the images of Saturn's rings, taken from within the gap between the innermost ring and the planet itself, a space never before explored by any probe. Here, Cassini achieved the impossible. With its instruments and camera aimed outward, it captured the rings in unprecedented detail. Thousands of ringlets, each a band of particles ranging from dust grains to house-sized boulders, could be seen casting shadows and reflecting sunlight in strange patterns. From this unique angle, the rings didn't appear flat, but seemed to rise and fall, giving the illusion of a three-dimensional labyrinth encircling a giant. These images alone sent shockwaves through the astronomical community, challenging long-held theories about ring composition and behavior. The moons of Saturn also made their final appearances in Cassini's lens, appearing like ancient companions in a solemn farewell. Titan, the largest of them, with its thick orange haze, was shown in spectral detail. Cassini had explored Titan more than any other moon, and yet its final images revealed even more intricacies: new cloud formations, hints of seasonal changes, and the shimmering outline of methane lakes reflecting distant sunlight. Enceladus, the ice-covered moon that had previously astonished scientists with its subsurface ocean and geysers, was glimpsed one last time as a ghostly white crescent, trailing faint plumes into the void. Each moon seemed to echo the mission's central mystery, that the further we looked, the more there was to see. Perhaps the most emotionally resonant image Cassini captured in its final sequence was a wide-angle shot of Saturn and its rings silhouetted against the light of the distant sun. In this frame, the planet was encircled by a delicate halo, and beyond it, faintly glowing in the distance, lay Earth, a tiny dot, pale and fragile. The image was not merely an astronomical observation, it was a philosophical provocation. To see our own world from that distance, dwarfed by the immensity of space and overshadowed by Saturn's grandeur, struck a chord in viewers around the world. It was a reminder of our place in the cosmos, not as rulers of the universe, but as curious inhabitants of a small, bright speck. The release of these images ignited a wave of public fascination that spread far beyond scientific circles. Social media platforms lit up with conversations about Saturn's eerie beauty and the stunning quality of Cassini's photographs. Artists and musicians drew inspiration from the mission's final gallery, creating works that blended the realms of science and creativity. Teachers incorporated the images into classrooms, sparking new interest in astronomy among students who had never before looked skyward with such awe. The emotional gravity of Cassini's parting gift was palpable. A spacecraft built with wires and logic boards had somehow stirred the collective human spirit. Behind the scenes, the mission team watched these final images come in with both pride and heartbreak. Years of planning, data analysis, and sleepless nights had led to this moment. The decision to end Cassini's mission with a controlled dive into Saturn was not made lightly. It was a choice made out of respect for potential life on the planet's moons, avoiding contamination by ensuring the spacecraft would never crash into Enceladus or Titan, both of which might harbor primitive life in subsurface oceans. But knowing the rationale did not make the moment less profound. As Cassini transmitted its final images, the signal grew weaker, fading gradually until silence filled the control room. The spacecraft had completed its journey, but its legacy had just begun. The implications of Cassini's final images extended deep into the scientific community. With the rings now viewed from the inside out, researchers began re-evaluating long-standing assumptions about their age and composition. Some of the rings' features suggested they might be younger than previously thought, possibly formed during the era of the dinosaurs on Earth. Other ring patterns hinted at hidden moons, small shepherding bodies that shaped and maintained the ring structure through gravitational interaction. These discoveries had the potential to reshape our understanding of not just Saturn, but planetary ring systems throughout the galaxy. Cassini's ultraviolet and infrared imagery also revealed surprising thermal patterns in Saturn's atmosphere, with localized heat pockets that challenged existing models of energy transfer in gas giants. These observations pushed scientists to refine their theories, incorporating the new data into simulations that now had to account for unexpected heating zones and atmospheric turbulence. The intricacy of Saturn's climate systems, visible in those final frames, was both intimidating and exhilarating. Here was a world of storms bigger than Earth, shaped by forces both alien and familiar, operating on a scale beyond comprehension. Even Saturn's magnetic field, long a subject of curiosity, gained new clarity in the mission's closing phase. Cassini's instruments measured fluctuations that suggested the field was not aligned with the planet's rotation, a finding that upended prior assumptions about its internal structure. If confirmed, this could mean that Saturn's core and magnetic processes are more dynamic and possibly more Earth-like than previously believed. It was yet another example of Cassini shaking loose the comfortable certainties of planetary science, leaving behind puzzles that would occupy researchers for years to come. As the images continued to circulate, new questions emerged. Had the hexagonal storm always looked like this, or had it evolved over the years? Were Saturn's rings a fleeting phenomenon in cosmic terms, or had they persisted far longer than initial estimates? Could Titan's methane lakes be home to life forms with chemistry unlike anything on Earth? Every image Cassini beamed back in its final days was layered with implication, each one a thread that, when tugged, unraveled more mystery. The spacecraft had ended its mission, but it had seeded countless new investigations, each branching out into new realms of possibility. For all the scientific excitement, there was also a deeply human element to the release of these final images. This mission, after all, was a product of collective vision. Thousands of engineers, scientists, and technicians had devoted their careers to Cassini, often working in anonymity, fueled not by fame but by a shared pursuit of knowledge. The images served as a tribute to their labor, a luminous record of what human beings could achieve when driven by curiosity rather than conquest. In a world often consumed by division and strife, here was a pure expression of unity, one species, looking outward, striving to understand a universe that neither notices nor explains itself. Cassini's farewell was also a reminder of time's passage, not just in years, but in eras. When it launched in 1997, the internet was young, smartphones were fantasy, and Pluto was still a planet in name. Over 2 decades, Cassini had orbited Saturn 294 times, executed daring flybys, deployed the Huygens lander to Titan, and sent back over 450,000 images. In its final days, it was like watching the last ember of a long-burning flame flicker into darkness. And yet, those images did not vanish. They became part of the human record, archived and studied, but also felt and remembered. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on NASA's final Cassini images? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.